Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast, your home for all things Washington Commanders. We are back. We are live. Follow me on Twitter at DeclassifiedWFT. You can find Mike on Twitter at Mike from Southwest. And Eric sometimes gets on Twitter. He still has a Twitter handle. I don't know if he's logged into it in the last
I haven't
3
logged
years.
into Twitter. Yeah, I think you blocked me. That's why.
But we're going to take
Can't
care
follow
of
you
all
if
that.
I'm blocked. Just saying.
Listen, guys, I block people accidentally. We backed up. We back. I unblock folks that I don't intend to block. I just don't like a lot of people retweet a lot of trash. So just put it that way. And I try to keep it off the timeline and keep it Commanders focused. You feel me? All right. A lot of stuff going on in Commanders Nation. As usual, we all want this Terry situation to be resolved. It is not resolved. Mike, why is this not resolved yet? What's going on, man? And it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of progress at this point.
Honestly, we've been at an impasse for 3 weeks now. It's one of them situations where at first I was like, yeah, I'm strictly Team Terry. Get that man his money. Then you hear more and you're like, oh, you're asking for a little bit too much, bro. Oh, no. But now it's yeah, these receivers looking kind of trashy right now. So that 30 might be good enough for us right now, but it's just too many factors. You got age, production, just a whole bunch of variables and whatnot happening, and it's a mess. It's a certified mess. At this point, I don't see how he signs before the season. He's going to be playing on that contract this year and probably getting tagged in the offseason. And this story is nowhere near ending. I thought it would be over before the season, but it's just not happening. I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's a strong chance this could be his last year in DC at this moment.
I hate to hear that, man, but it just the lack of progress is what is really, really concerning this close to the season. We're less than 4 weeks away from real football being played, right? We're less than 3 weeks away from fantasy draft. So we got some decisions to make, and we need this thing worked out, right? Actually, I'm pretty sure somebody kept Terry in our league. So, Mike, was that you? Eric, was that you?
It wasn't me. I'd have done it, though. Look, Terry.
I would have kept him, too.
I think the problem with Terry is the issue is that the team holds all the cards. Because at some point, Terry Mclaurin is going to have to come back and play, whether he's got a contract or not, because he's going to start getting fined and losing those game checks. And that's just the team is willing to wait that out. And as far as tagging him next year, I don't know that they do, because if production after age 30 is the issue, and when it comes time to tag him, he's going to be past that point. So if you think that you're just going to tag him for $30 million or whatever the tag is next year, I don't even know what it is for a franchise wide receiver, but I know it's going to be high. If tagging him is an option, then just extend him for that year. If you're going to tag him anyway, extend him for what the franchise tag is. I solve problems here. That's what I do. But, Terry just doesn't have very much leverage, unfortunately. I did read something on PFT, which I try to avoid reading stuff from Florio, but he did make a good point, and it's like a nuclear solution, and I don't think it would happen. But when the regular season ends, his contract, he has no obligation to play if he's not under contract, and he can actually opt out of the playoffs if he wanted to. So, the suggestion was just say it now. It's I'll play under this contract, but when the playoffs get here, if I don't have a new deal, I'm not going to play. And then it's on the team, because then it's you knew this was coming and you didn't do anything about it. Do you wait him out? I don't think it comes to that. That's pretty, I think Terry's too much of a competitor, and he's really, I think winning is the most important to him. I don't think that would happen, but it is an interesting scenario. So props to Mike Florio for that. That was a good point. But yeah, I think that, I don't know if he gets a new deal done at this point, but he'll be back. He'll be back in time for the season. You just hope he gets back in time and gets ramped up slowly enough that he doesn't get injured like Rashawn Slater did, right after he signed his deal and reported to camp. He's gone for the year now. We don't want that to happen. We just want that nice runway for Terry Mclaurin to get back in here, get back in playing shape, be ready for week one. Hopefully, man, give that guy a little bit of cheddar as well. But the team doesn't have to do it. They have all the cards.
One of the variables that I was thinking about, and when you mentioned it, I had to go double check it just in case. The franchise tag for receivers next year is 28.086. So that's less than 30. And that's another reason why this is so complicated, because he's asking for more than what the franchise tag is next season. And when we say Washington has all the leverage, we really mean all the leverage. Like, even if they say, hey, we're not going to pay you 30 because we could tag you next year for 28 and still save less money. So they really have they have that agent over the table for real. Like, it was I know we hate to see it, but from Peter's side, they cooked this negotiation. Now it might not end with them having a player, but all the cards are on their side. Like, it's nothing other than simply not playing that McLaurin can do that will force them to force their hand, basically. But him not playing hurts him more than it hurts the Commanders. Like, of course they won't have a wide receiver one, but they can make do without him on the team. He doesn't get paid if he doesn't play. So, like, at this point, he really should accept the contract, but I'm not him or his agent, so I don't know. But they really got them, like, with their pants down. Sorry for the pun, but I mean, it's true.
And I believe if he sits out the year, if he doesn't do certain things, then this year doesn't count as an accrued year for him as well. But I think, like, to your point, Eric, like, if he would like to say, I'm gonna sit out the playoffs, you could wipe Terry from the history books, because he may as well not even exist in Washington if he would have pulled something like that, right? Like, we made it to the playoffs and Terry's like, all right, I'm out. Thanks, though. Terry would never go in the Ring of Fame. He would never be mentioned again in a positive way by Commanders fans, and probably would go down as the most selfish player in the history of the Washington Redskins Commanders franchise. Not saying that, deserved or undeserved, but man, if he pulled that he would ruin his legacy completely and entirely here. But it is an option. I think, like, Terry, really, this is really unfortunate. It's hard to say it's unfortunate for somebody who's making $20+ million a year, but his deal expired 2 years too late. You know what I mean? A year and a half too late. Like, and I think this is kind of what I think with football contracts, something that I think agents need to do a better job of, is like projecting the end of a contract so that their players can get paid one more time, right? So remember when Terry signed that extension before, that paid him $20+ million a year at the time? That was like at the top of he was paid like a top 5 receiver, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or top 10, something like that, with that $20 million deal he got. But man, you had to know it was coming to this point where he was going to be 29 asking for another big deal. Expire that deal 1 year earlier and then, get to the negotiation table. I mean, imagine if Terry was negotiating a contract before Jamar Chase, before all those other players got paid, and then you're like, I got a rookie quarterback that I really need Terry here for. And we don't know how good he's going to be, but we know he'd be a lot better with Terry. Like, if this was last offseason, I think Terry's getting a major bag. But because you saw how good Jayden Daniels was, and all these other receivers have gotten paid, including some that are getting paid less than what Terry's asked, this could not have played out worse for Terry McLaurin. And I hate that for him.
It's really, and the thing is, Terry had the leverage at his last deal that they could have done that, because that was a deal where he was holding out a camp, or holding out of the mini camps. And Dan Snyder basically went to the front office and said, get this done. We need a win. I mean, that's all the leverage Terry needed. I guess maybe he didn't know that, but he could have done a shorter extension. He could have basically got whatever he wanted, because all Dan Snyder wanted was a quick win to get, people to not hate him anymore for 5 minutes.
I mean, but so much changed since that last contract. So I understand why they didn't have a foresight. But if they did, they could have definitely got him some more money last year than not. But it is what it is.
But that's the agent's job, is to project future markets, right? Especially with the way that money was going up.
But that's the thing. It was more than a market. Dan Snyder sold the team. I promise you, when he signed the contract, nobody thought that was happening anytime soon.
Yeah, but you still got to project my player is going to be 29 going on 30. And I need to make sure that we manage this situation right, because in the NFL, they're not giving a ton of big contracts to players that are 30 at the time of signing, right? And if he plays on his deal
Definitely
this
not wide
year,
receivers.
right? And if he plays on his deal this year, it's over with for him. He's going to be taking $10 million contracts next year. And I think the Commanders organization knows that. I mean, look at Keenan Allen, right? Look at Hopkins. Look at those guys that we talked about this before, but you go on a negotiation table with a new team, unless you're going to play for a really bad or a really desperate team, it's going to be tough to ask for big numbers at the age of 30 going to a new team, because that consistency just is not there. Now, if Terry comes back and he plays well, then maybe he can change that, because he's still got some mileage left. What you have to be afraid of if you're Terry is, number one, any kind of injury that sets you back, because that's going to be problematic. And number two, any decline in play. Can you imagine if Terry plays on his deal this year and then his numbers go down? He has like 800 yards receiving and like 5 touchdowns for some reason. And because even if it's just Debo's performing better than we expected, Terry's done at the negotiating table next year, right? He's going to go play for the Ravens on a budget deal. Like, I hate that we're here, but to me, it's Terry's agent's fault that we're here for not having the foresight to plan ahead with that last big deal, right? All right. Now, let's move on from the Terry contract situation and talk about the Terry impact, or the absence of Terry's impact on the team. So, in Friday night's preseason game, not that Terry would have played, no receivers really stood out that much to me. Do you guys recall from watching the tape any receivers that you were like, hey, this guy will be all right without Terry because this guy's here?
No.
Yeah, the Cam Sims 2.0 guy. What's his name?
Brooks?
Yeah, the guy who, the tall guy, caught like 4. They had like 60 yards receiving against third stringers. Ja'Cory Brooks. There you go.
Yeah. And I like him. I even like St. Martin. I mean, even Gallup was decent. But if you're going to sit here and tell me like that they're comfortable with these receivers and not and are okay with not signing McLaurin, your line, their line, everybody's line.
Well, yeah, and Luke McCaffrey played, didn't do a heck of a lot.
Apparently he was sick. So
yeah, I heard that before the game.
Yeah, give his performance a grain of salt.
Apparently Noah Brown's injured again.
Yep.
He hasn't been out there practicing.
Yeah. And with all due
Amari
respect,
Cooper's sitting out there looking for a job, though.
Man, I'm about to call him
he retired. I said the same thing last week. I thought he retired, and everybody keeps saying sign him.
Yeah.
That's not good, though. If that's where we're going with the receivers, signing a dude that people thought retired. Hey, Gallup actually did retire, so we are kind of in that spot already. So
yep.
Yeah. It's not great right now. And it's going to be more problematic as the season starts. I mean, we just aren't good enough at receiver right now. And Debo is going to be fantastic. I believe it. He's going to be really good for us. But the question then becomes, then who? And I saw somebody posting this on social media, and I really agreed with it. I forgot who posted it, so forgive me if you posted it, hit us in the comments. But somebody said, talking about Diami Brown, letting him walk. And what we let him walk for $10 million from the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And it's like our receiver room was already kind of thin. What was the plan? I guess Debo was the plan to replace Diami, right? And Debo's coming at $20 million, 4 years, or what, 2.5, 3 years older. But I don't know if that was logical, because we could have done both. We could have had Debo and Diami. Now, what we're forgetting is Jalen Lane in all of this, but we got to see more in the preseason. My concern level with the receiver position right now, all things considered, is probably at a 6.5 going into the season, which is a little bit higher than I want it to be. And if Terry was here, I'd still have concerns about the depth of the receivers on this roster, so I'd be down at a 3.5 to a 4.5. But it's not good right now, and I'm a little worried that this is going to really carry over into the regular season. All right, so let's flip our pages over to the preseason game or the slaughter in the preseason opener that took place. Eric, we got crushed. How much do you take from that in that preseason game? And if you do take anything, what does it mean to you?
I take very little from it. So little that I didn't watch the game. I was people watching in New Orleans, which is way better than preseason football. But no, New England, the two teams that came into that game were in very different positions. New England needed to show something. New England played a lot of starters, and Washington did not. Washington played its rookies. The rookies that played that we hoped would play well all played well. We saw some of the second-year guys like Johnny Newton made a play, forced a fumble. He was active. The players that we needed to play well, we needed to see play well, played well. They were overmatched because they were playing starters who were really trying to play. Because look, New England was one of the worst teams in the league last year, and they've got a new head coach. They're trying to instill something in that organization. They had a lot more to play for than Washington did. Washington was just looking at guys to fill out their backup roles. So it being a blowout does not concern me whatsoever. If the starters go in there and look terrible this week or next week or whenever they play, then it's a little more concerning. But no, I don't worry at all about that. I think we saw Josh Connerly play really well. We saw Trey Amos play really well. We saw Bill Merritt play really well. And those are the guys that we wanted to see, and they showed out, and that makes me happy, and I'm satisfied with what we saw in that preseason game. Would have liked to have not be humiliated on Paramount Plus or whatever it was on, but whatever. It's
Did
week
it
one of
even
the
end up
preseason.
being on Paramount Plus? I honestly
don't even know.
But look, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to add to your point about them playing their starters to Washington's second and third stringers, apparently, and Logan Paulson said this, so if he's wrong, if it's wrong, you can at him. Don't at me. Never at me for anything, please. I don't.
Unless it's Cash App.
But anyway, he said that they game planned that game, man. He said that the Patriots had some game planning going on, man, and that's why that's why early in the game, like a lot of the stuff was happening because he said they game planned some things. And Logan Paulson just isn't one of those Bamas that's just going to throw out something without anything concrete to back it up. So if he's saying they game planned and they played the starters, I barely cared before hearing that, and after hearing that, I really don't care. It's a preseason game. A lot of they rested 30 starters on Friday, so we're not 30 starters, but 30 players on Friday. So that's all the starters and a few backups. So yeah, it's really a nothing burger. Crush it because it doesn't matter for real.
Yeah. So they did the what was it? The burgundy and gold scrimmage recently, and the defense was whooping tail out there, or some people say whooping feet. But the big concern, I like that the defense is flashing. The offense not being productive is starting to become a concern. I think all in all, the offense has had some good moments in camp, but it sounds like they really haven't put it together all the way thus far in camp. Mike, do you attribute that to Terry? Do you not being here? Do you attribute it to just working out the kinks? And are you starting to grow concerned with the offense at all going into the season?
I really want everybody to just seriously think about what's going on and why this is happening. Yes, the offense is missing two crucial pieces, wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. Tunsil has been in and out of the lineup. Cosme is in there. So the offense, they're missing a lot of pieces. But guess what? I remember last year, the Cowboys was missing some pieces. I remember last year, the Eagles were missing some pieces at one point. Teams were missing pieces on their offenses, yet they were still lighting Washington up. So I'm happy, to be honest with you. I know the offense doesn't have all their horses, so to see the defense actually dominating That's a good thing. We want to see that. We don't want to see the defense struggling versus an offense that's missing their top 2 receivers and 2 offensive linemen. So the fact that they're out there dominating, the fact that I'm hearing Trey Amos looking like a boss out there, the fact that I'm not hearing Lattimore is getting cooked, it's a good thing. They're getting pressure. They're stopping the run. Like, it's a good thing that they're doing this to our offense. We have Jayden Daniels. And McLaurin will be back soon. If Brown doesn't come back, they'll find another receiver. No worries about the offense. This training camp is telling us a story. And the story is that this defense might be one of the ones for real. And that's good for us. That's really a good thing. We want the defense to be doing this right now. We need the defense to be doing this right now. So just enjoy it. Don't feel sad. The offense will be okay. I promise.
Yeah, I would concur with that. It's very refreshing to hear the defense is just good, especially the secondary, because with what we had to watch last year from the secondary, to hear how well they're playing. And I'm actually getting really juiced up for Mikey Sanristril. I can't wait to watch him play. He was awesome last year. By all accounts, he is like the best player on the team this year in training camp, on the defense especially. So
I'm hearing him and Amos all Sanristril and Amos.
Amos looks the part. He looks like he's walking the walk too. Really exciting. And Lattimore getting healthy is, depending on how long that lasts. And the fact that you've got quality backups in Jones, it's really exciting to hear how well the secondary is playing. Von Miller, people are really impressed with what he's bringing, and those big boys on the interior defensive line, the guys they brought in, that beef, that the Philly stoppers, right? That's what they're supposed to be. It sounds like they're doing their jobs. I think the offense will catch up. The defense is very familiar with the offense already. Probably has a lot to do with how well they played. They're going to have the advantage if they know if they know the offense well, they're going to have the advantage. But I'm excited to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing this defense play this year. I hope it's not just an aberration at training camp. But yeah, I'm really looking forward. I think it's amazing that the defense played so well today.
That's the one thing that's giving me pause, the fact that it is training camp, and we've heard this story before. Matter of fact, I think last year they were talking about how decent Forbes and St. Juice look, only for them.
Nobody ever said Forbes looked decent. I never heard anybody say that, dude. Except me before the draft.
No, you know what? My bad. That wasn't last year. That was the year before last when we were at the Ravens training camp for the joint practices. They said Forbes had a good day or was having a good training camp that year, which was his rookie year. So, but nevertheless, I digress. The defense is better. We don't have Forbes anymore. He's in LA doing Lord knows what. St. Juice is on the other LA team getting cooked. So, listen, good riddance. I wish it worked out here, but trust me, we're in much better hands with Sanristril and Amos and even Igbenogany. My goodness, I know he was like involved in a lot of plays on Thursday night or Friday night. I'm sorry. But he actually was playing pretty decent, especially compared to last year. So the fact that our fourth corner, I would say, is starting to look pretty decent. I'm just saying, like, I'm really interested in how the secondary is going to perform. And we haven't even said anything about Quan Martin yet. And during the inner squad today, they were running 3 safeties a lot. And the third safety was Jeremy Reeves. He was in the first team defense today. So we might be getting a lot of revo this season on defense. That's crazy. I wasn't expecting that. I penciled him in as like a special teams ace, but this man about to be playing defense for us. And if he can harness some of that talent from special teams to defense, it just makes the defense that much better.
Yeah, agreed. It was funny is Heineke, St. Juice, and Chase Young are all on the Los Angeles Chargers. It's just wild.
Oh wow, I didn't even know
Chase Young. I thought
Young was on
the Saints.
That was last year.
No, I thought he re-signed.
You might be right. I think what I meant to say was they all played in the same game because the Saints played the Chargers, I believe. this week.
Okay.
Yeah, let me double check my notes now because I wrote that down. Yeah, he's with the Saints. And
I
yeah,
actually
first
wouldn't
clip
mind
I
bringing
pulled
him
up,
back this year.
St.
But
Jude's
I
getting
know.
worked.
Not
Wow.
St. Jude's, Chase Young. I wouldn't mind bringing back this season.
Yeah,
It's funny. He actually fits what they're trying to do now, which is crazy. But yeah,
They trying to get out of position.
nah, he wasn't. It wasn't really.
man.
I don't
Playing
think
hero
he
ball.
was. I really. The more I hear, especially since they traded them, the more I'm like, John Allen was the person causing all the problems on the defensive line. Like it just seemed like he was the one
Well,
that
we
was
got it.
like being the most reckless and confrontational and things like that. Like, yeah, it seemed like he was the one. But anyway, he's out of here. We'll see him sometime in December, I guess.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I just
I
want
wouldn't
to
mind
point out
having
that Chase Young, my draft comparison to Chase Young is still out there. And I was
Mario
wrong.
Williams.
And I was wrong, but not in the way that everybody made fun of me for being wrong.
Eric, are you at the point with Sanristril where you would buy a jersey?
No, I'm not buying a jersey.
Mm-mm.
I don't do that. I mean, if he's 15 years from now when he retires and he's in the Ring of Fame, I might buy a throwback Sanristril, but
No real time jersey.
I'm not a jersey guy anymore. It's a waste of money. There's too much player movement these days. Sorry, Jayden Daniels, not going to buy your stuff. Find me like a Darryl Green throwback or an Art Monk throwback, and then we'll talk.
John Riggins. Yeah.
A Rigo, yeah.
I bought a Daniels jersey last year. I'm not a jersey guy either, but I just felt like we found our franchise quarterback, so it deserved to be purchased. And I have not put it on other than to come down.
Now they're changing the
uniforms.
Now they're changing the uniforms.
Yeah.
Like a mug.
Throwback. All right, let's fast forward to this Bengals game. First of all, Monday night preseason games. Really? Are we really doing this? But, preseason games belong on Friday and Saturday night. Come on now. But I guess the Monday night crew's got to get warmed up too. Bengals, Commanders. Eric, what do you want to see out of this game? What do you need to see from our guys, and how much do you want to see them play?
I want to see the offense play like a quarter, like the starters. I'd like to see Jayden just get in there, get hit a couple times, just to knock the rust off. And yeah, I would like to see Terry Mclaurin out there as well. But I want to see like a quarter of play, no huge mistakes, everybody come out healthy. That's my main objective, and I want to be in bed by 9:30 because the starters are on the bench. So,
Mike, same question to you. What do you want to see? How much you want to see him play? Do they need to prove anything to you?
I promise I'm not contradicting myself. I don't know if we're playing our starters because they one of the reporters mentioned like Daniels might not play the entire preseason, but things might have changed, especially after the first performance. But I hope the defense starts on Monday, the first team defense. Like I hope as many starters start as possible. And again, I'm contradicting myself by what I just said about the defense, but I hope the Bengals absolutely annihilate us on Monday. I hope they destroy that defense, carve that defense to pieces, death by 1,000 cuts, bombs. I want to see them get destroyed because I know if that happens on Monday, then they'll be able to find a way to fix it, and it's going to make the defense that much better heading into the 2025 season. So I want Barrow to be his best, his absolute best on Monday night, so we can see how we can be our best in 2025. That's the way I'm looking at it.
What if Burrow's at his best and he still gets shut down? The defense.
Man, hey,
are we the 85 Bears?
I was about to say, we can start talking Super Bowl. I don't care if it is a preseason. If that man is on this game and the defense is clearly like shutting down the Bengals, which is something the Eagles didn't do as well with on when they played them last week, then you could start. Yeah, I'll let you start talking Super Bowl with no discuss. I'll let you freely talk about it.
For me, I think I want to see Daniels for a series. I want to see some of the other starters for 2 series. I think the big issue we're going to have is that Mariota's not healthy right now. And so I don't think you're going to play the starters with Sam Hartman, right? Or Josh Johnson at this point in time. So my guess is when Daniels leaves, the rest of the starters will leave too. Cincinnati played starter. We're going to see them this week. Remember, there's only 3 preseason games now. And so I did hear a report on the NFL radio that coaches are considering playing starters more because especially coaches on the hot seat don't want to get off to slow starts in September. So you may see a little bit more player involvement early on. But I just want to see us run the football. I'm confident in Daniel's ability to pass the ball. I do think that at some point they figure out Terry being back. I think so. I don't really need to see a ton of him slinging the ball around, especially if Noah Brown's not healthy. I don't want to see Daniels throwing to Ja'Cory Brooks right now. And no offense to Jalen Lane, him yet either, because I still think there's to do in that area with McCaffrey. So if he's not throwing to Debo, I really don't even want to see it. Or Zach Ertz. I wouldn't play Ertz at all because Ertz is just such a veteran that he's going to be ready. Defensively, play everybody for at least a couple of series, and let's see what we really got. Did we really fix the run defense or not? So I'm excited about the game. I hate that it's on a Monday night, and I got to stay up late for this. I know I'm being a curmudgeon, but come on, bro. It's preseason. But play some of the guys a lot. Play some of the guys a little, mix it up a little bit. Folks with something to prove, if you are a bona fide starter or a player that's going to make the roster, you're probably not going to play a ton this week. The third preseason game is just absolute trash because it's just like players that are probably not going to be on a roster and they're just like, playing their hearts out. God bless them. I want them to be picked up and stuff like that, but it really doesn't make for a well-orchestrated game. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, what do you guys think about this QB3 situation? Do you guys think it's going to be Hartman, or do you think Josh Johnson's going to pull it out?
I wanted to be Hartman.
Yeah, I think
just
Josh
because
Johnson.
Of the youth.
I think maybe they find a trade partner for him as a QB2 maybe somewhere.
I'm with that. I am with that.
Hartman. I mean, not that he's going to fetch anything high. I mean, they may trade him for like a conditional 7th round pick or something like that. But he's got
trade for Hartman.
No, not Hartman, but Johnson. Hartman, he's just a developmental player. It is a little concerning because the arm strength is concerning with Hartman. He's just not he's going to have to really rely on timing, much like Taylor Heineke did, because that's the level of arm strength that he has. He just doesn't have that. You saw it on that interception he threw. He was late and inside, and he threw like a hospital ball, right? And it was an easy pick. So he's got to get better. He's got to really work on fundamentals to stick around. But that should be your third quarter. Like that, he's a third quarterback on most rosters. I don't know that he's ever going to be more than a QB2 at any point in his career. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Sam Hartman sticks around forever. But I think he's a fine QB3. Just somebody that to come in as an emergency, you can pay a little bit less. And like I said, maybe you can flip Josh Johnson for put him in a better situation for him and get a little something out of it.
And apparently, Hartman had a much better day today in the intra squad scrimmage than he did on Friday night. And like thinking back on it, I could see how a lot of the plays that he made or didn't make on Friday weren't necessarily his fault. Like
a lot of drops,
literally dropped passes that he was putting on the money, including the third down pass. And I'm gonna admit I wasn't watching the game. I was listening to it at that point. So I didn't realize it was third down when Brooks dropped that pass. That probably would have been like a 20-yard game. So all things considered, Hartman wasn't that bad one.
He did throw a dot too. He dropped one right in a really nice throw. It would have been a touchdown.
I think that's the third down I'm talking about.
It was a touchdown throw. It would have been it was a beautiful throw right in the bucket, and he just dropped it, and that was that. So yeah. I would agree with that. Not everything was on his fault. There were some drops as well. But yeah, he's like I said.
Are you sure it was for Brooks? Not the other guy? I thought it was.
No, I'm sorry. It was more. I'm sorry, Brooks. That's on me.
Yeah.
It was definitely. It was 1,000% more. I'm so sorry, Brooks. Yeah. That's on me. But you were trying to get that in training camp. He was dropping passes in training. But Moore was dropping them in camp and in the game.
Yeah, I'm afraid Moore is done. I don't see a way he makes the roster after that game.
I'm not afraid. I'm happy he's done. Get him out.
Oh, no.
If we're in a pinch, Mariota's hurt, God forbid, and Daniels is hurt, God forbid. At that point, is Josh Johnson a better path to a win versus Sam Hartman in you guys' mind?
Probably.
Yeah, but it's the third quarterback. I'm not expecting anything at that point. I'm just trying to hurry up and end the game.
We're familiar with the Josh Johnson experience. He's been in the NFL long enough to know he'll come in, win you a game. People think, why isn't this guy getting more? And then all of a sudden he turns back into Josh Johnson. It happens everywhere he goes. He goes out, makes a few plays, and then people talk about he gets you started for an extended period of time, and you see why he's been that journeyman quarterback his whole careir. And
I remember the game.
To be fair, I think that's the path that Sam Hartman's probably on as well.
Yeah.
But I roll with the younger guy in this case.
That first game that Josh Johnson won with us, I think we kicked like 6 field goals or something like that. And everybody was like, yes, we got a good quarterback. I'm like, hey, you score a touchdown. What are y'all?
Can't kick field goals if you're not in scoring position. Just remember that. All right. All right. Well, we're going to look forward to the Bengals game on Monday. Eric, any final thoughts about what's going on at this point in the offseason?
Preseason's the worst, but I'll watch this. I'll watch the game this week, I promise.
Mike, final thought from you. Any surprise cuts that you can see coming at this point?
Yeah, actually, I could see a few surprise cuts, especially on that D line. And surprisingly now in deep secondary, there can be another surprise cut. But one thing real quick, I said last week that the signing of Matt Gay meant that the team wasn't were going all in or being more serious about pursuing winning this year. So for him to miss the 40 or 39-yard field goal that he kicked, making me look absolutely stupid. So
was Tressway holding on that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was him. Like, it wasn't a bad snap. He just missed the kick.
Okay.
They said he played better in the intra-squad scrimmage today, so that's good. And he was 4 for 5 yesterday. But I'm like, bruh, like, we really need you to hit any kick under 50. You got to knock them down like you usually do, man. Come on, man. Just saying.
You can't.
Don't make me look bad no more, please.
Yeah, this kicker stuff is
Zane Gonzalez on speed dial. Don't worry.
Let's find somebody else altogether. All right. Commanders Classified, thank you for listening. Make sure you tell your friends to tell some friends. Share our podcast on all social media platforms. Listen to it on any social media platform that does streaming services, be it audio or video. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for riding with us. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with us, as they say in rap music. Anyway, thanks for joining. Subscribe, like, comment. Shout out to the comment gang. Everybody, we are out of here. Peace.